Me and Crusher of the 21st variety will be giving away 8 Evolution Mega Knight offers. All you have to do to enter is subscribe to me, subscribe to Crusher who will be linked in the description, like this video, and comment down below. Yo, what's going on guys? Today, we'll be going over my games from the Team Pekka vs Team Mega Knight Creator Tournament. Basically, each team had 3 pro players and 3 content creators to represent them. I was on Team Pekka. So basically, in every single duel I played, I had to play Pekka in at least one of my decks, and so did everyone else playing on my team. And for Team Mega Knight, they had to do the same thing, but with Mega Knight instead of Pekka. So whoever won, like whichever side won, all the creators and pro players would get 10 pass rails and 50 Mega Knight emotes, I think, to give away. So yeah, I really wanted to win here. You know, not like CRL or something, but still was a really big tournament. There were like 200,000 people watching Clash Royale live, pretty much all watching this exact tournament. You know, at this point I just woke up, I was just like, yeah, I was just trying to not mess up or anything like that. I decided to play this Pekka Ram Rider deck, pretty safe Pekka deck, pretty standard, and I think Sergio kind of expected that, so he decided to play a Mega Knight deck himself, but he actually had, you know, Fishermen and Guards and stuff like that, which made it quite a bit more difficult for me than I expected. And also, you guys will see soon, but Evo Mega Knight really is no joke. I was being kind of careful with my Fishermans here because I thought he had Snowball in the deck instead of like a Void or something. I didn't realize he had Void until a while later, as you guys will see. Went for kind of an aggressive Pekka. That's kind of how you play Pekka, though. He wasted the guards and he was down a few elixirs, so I think that Pekka was pretty much fine. Got a very nice heal off the one guard right there. And guys, on my team I had me, Riley, Mohammed Light, Bennyhu, David Rooney, and KFC Clash. Me, Mohammed Light, and Riley were the 3 pro players. It's kind of funny because me, Riley, and Mohammed Light, we all do make videos, but we were just considered as the pro players in this tournament. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because obviously Mohammed Light is like the very best CRL player right now, and me and Riley are doing quite well ourselves, so yeah. And I was up against Sergio Ramos, who is the 2017 Clash Royale League World Champion, so I knew that even though he's not really a pro player right now, he, you know, obviously got a #1, so he must be very good. And unfortunately, I could have activated my king here and taken like no damage, but the Evo Ice Spirit just wrecked me. I still thought he had Snowball, so that's basically why I lost half my tower right there. And the guards were really just messing with me, and I feel like the Mega Knight, even though obviously Pekka counters it, it was kind of just hard to break through it, so I wasn't feeling particularly good at this point. Yeah, so I was calling with Mohammed Light, Riley, and everyone else on my team, but we were kind of just joking around and stuff, thinking we get an easy win here against against the Team Mega Knight. I feel like the odds were kind of stacked in our favor with our players, but at the same time, obviously, you would think that Mega Knight should beat Pekka. I mean, no, Pekka should beat Mega Knight, I meant to say. I got a decent Ram Rider charge. I was starting to kind of lock in a little bit at this point. I was kind of just ready for whatever he was going to throw at me, but then, dude, the Mega Knight hit my Fisherman to the tower. See, that's how dumb Evo Mega Knight is, man. It's kind of crazy that I did not just instantly win against Sergio Ramos, having Pekka Fisherman against Mega Knight. Like, that makes no sense. I know I was playing bad so far, but you would just never think that. I mean, the real reason I was playing so bad was because I was thinking he had Snowball. So I just never got my king up with my Fisherman. That kind of just ruined me. But I was still thinking, okay, there's still a chance here, you know, I just have to get a really nice Ram Rider somehow. It would have been really nice to have Evo Zap in this deck, but with Evo Pekka, you can't really fit that extra Evo Zap, so did kind of make it a little bit more difficult to get some offense. And I got a nice Evo Pekka here, and I knew he would Mega Knight, so I decided to go for the Fisherman, trying to predict it. But man, his Evo Ice Spirit saved the heck out of him, but still I got a decent push going, but then the Evo Ice Spirit also stopped my Ram Rider, and it was just so dumb. But my Pekka was healing like crazy. Mega Knight was going crazy, man. I played the Ghost right into it. I couldn't do anything else. It kept kicking my stuff towards the tower. What was that Mega Knight doing? I tried to stop the Hog, but it still got a hit. I knew he didn't have much direct damage, though, so I was thinking, okay, there's maybe still a very small chance that he messes up or something. Had to just Ghost to block it, but I knew I had to go in here because I just had one chance left to potentially do something. I think I went for a Pekka at the bridge here, yeah. And then I tried to block this Void, which I kind of did, but the Hog Rider took it. For game 2, I decided to go for my good old trusty Goblin drill deck. I mained this deck, so I knew that I could beat pretty much any matchup in the game with it. When I saw Zappies, I was thinking Sergio was playing a Recruits deck, so I was pretty happy. This deck does do quite well against Royal Recruits. Got some decent Goblin drill damage somehow. I think the Zappy somehow reset the Goblin to be on the tower instead of on the cage. Then I saw that Graveyard, I was kind of surprised. Kind of looked like a Mega Knight Graveyard deck at this point, but I knew he wasted the Mega Knight, so he couldn't play it again because basically I was playing a best of 3 duel against Sergio. That was the format of every single one of the matches between our teams, except there were a couple 2v2s at the end as well. So yeah, I was still just kind of trying to figure out what he was running. I knew he couldn't be playing Pekka because we couldn't play Evo Mega Knight and they couldn't play Evo Pekka. So I knew it couldn't be Pekka. I was really unsure of what his tank was at this point, but it actually turned out that he had no tank, but I didn't know that at this point, so I couldn't really play too weirdly or too aggressively until I knew exactly what his deck was. Yeah, I don't even know what he was trying to snipe here. He had a really weird graveyard deck of some sort. I was kind of just chilling, trying to get a little bit of Goblin drill chip damage. Because you can always defend the graveyards with poison, but you do often take at least a little bit of chip damage. I got a really good drill all the way in the back here. When you play an Evo drill, they can't see the icon of where it's going to go. Only if you play your normal drill. Like when you have the Evo drill, yeah, it doesn't show the pop-up icon like it does for the normal drill. So yeah, you can sometimes play it in the back and take your opponent by surprise like that. That was a really good play by me, kind of just forced out a lot of elixir and still got a tiny bit of chip damage, mainly just the impact damage, which is something. When you play Evo Drill, it does have quite a bit of impact damage with all of the 3 submerges, or 2 submerges, I meant to say. I didn't really care too much about the Zappies here. I didn't want to poison because I didn't want to be too over-aggressive. Didn't really get any damage, but, you know, helped me get to my Evo Drill, and that's really all I wanted to do at this point, just try to get to as many evolved Goblin drills as possible. And here I just knew he had no tank in his deck, but he did have Evo Bomber in cycle, so I knew I had to be quite careful about that. That was really going to be my biggest threat. He actually played it on my drill, so I was thinking, okay, I might be able to get my King Tower up here, and I knew if I do, that it should be pretty much good game. So I really wanted to do that. Played an Evo Tesla here, I knew the Bomber would activate my King Tower. But the Zappy barely stayed alive, and guess what happens? The goofy Zappy pushed the Bomber, so it forced it to not activate my King Tower. He got, honestly, kind of lucky on that one. Because that would have activated my King and just won me the game instantly, if it weren't for the Zappy just barely staying alive and pushing it out of the way. He was actually kind of starting to outcycle me, even though I had a cycle deck and he had a slow graveyard deck. I guess mainly from the 3-card cycle of the Little Prince. That was a beautiful log right there. But he was still getting a little bit of chip damage. I couldn't you know, be too aggressive or anything like that, or too confident at this point. Just kept on spamming the drills here. He had no tank, no barbell, no really anything, so he's never going to defend the drills cheaply. That was a pretty good demolisher too. Zappies really are not quite ideal against them. He did go for the Little Prince ability. I feel like Little Prince is such a joke these days, though. I know Muhammad Light loves Little Prince for some reason, but man, I feel like whenever I face it, it's always such a joke. The ability feels so bad too, usually. It can be good sometimes, but I don't know, a lot of the time that ability just feels like it's always going to be a negative elixir trade. And he once again played his Evo Bomber, not really learning from the first time. So this time I was hoping I could actually get the King activation and, you know, not have it messed up again. So I was sure that Evo Bomber should activate my King Tower here. I was just hoping nothing dumb would happen like last time. The Phoenix somehow respawned. Evo Bomber got so much damage on my tower. Phoenix bit my tower too, like a little dog or something. But I got some nice Goblin chip damage. And my King was up at this point, so I knew he could Graveyard, but, you know, I had my Evo Tesla in cycle, so I was not scared at all. Well, I kind of was, but not really, though, because I'm fearless. And yeah, my drill just took the whole tower. Yeah, my drills were just so good this game, he couldn't stop them, and that put us in a 1-to-1 situation. So at this point, Sergio had wasted the logs, so I was thinking, okay, Logbait could be a pretty good option. The only issue was that I had the Inferno Tower in this bait deck. Sergio ended up having a Logbait deck too, surprisingly. But yeah, I knew my Inferno Tower would really mess me up in this matchup. The reason I put Inferno Tower was because I was originally intending for this deck to be a Mega Knight Snipe. Because actually Inferno Tower is one of the better counters to Evo Mega Knight besides Pekka. The only issue was that he played Mega Knight first game and I played my Pekka already into it. So yeah, I didn't really have much of a use for the Inferno Tower anymore, but still wanted to try to play my best here, even though I knew it would be a pretty difficult matchup. He had arrows too, I had Snowball. I feel like arrows are a little bit better in the mirror matchup than Snowball because, you know, it's not really better against the barrel. It does kill the barrel fully, unlike Snowball, but Snowball is 1 elixir cheaper. It does still fully counter the barrel unless it's being tanked for. The issue was that, yeah, just my Dark Goblins and Princesses, I knew they would die to arrows all the time. Prince was a little bit of a hassle to deal with as well. Didn't have too many distractions. I kind of knew I was already dead at this point. I thought maybe I could get something going though. Yeah, actually, I kind of survived just fine. I think I went, yeah, for the Evo barrel. Just trying to have a bit of double lane pressure. Evo barrel didn't really do too much, but got a little bit of damage on the left side. These bridge princesses were so annoying though, I couldn't really do too much about them. I think if I had a log in this deck or something, it would have been a pretty decent matchup. Riley was on call with me here, and he kept on saying that I could win. But I think he was just trying to give me confidence. But, you know, I was thinking, okay, I know that this is a bad matchup, but, you know, I could definitely outplay and stuff, just like I do in CRL. Speaking of which, by the time you guys are watching this video, I'll already have competed in the CRL Community Tournament qualifiers. Hopefully I did qualify. You guys will see though. Maybe I'll make a video on it if I do qualify. Got a pretty nice bridge princess. He got really good value arrows, but, you know, I still got the damage that I wanted to get, so that was pretty fancy. Got a nice Evo Valkyrie right there as well. Valkyrie was actually pretty decent in this matchup, but yeah, Prince does kind of run through it, but still Valkyrie's good against the barrel, rascals, stuff like that. I was holding up very well here though. I think I just went for the Dark Goblin, yeah, and Snowball. Kind of had to overcommit against the barrels. Maybe after all it would have been, yeah, pretty nice to have arrows or something. I did have arrows open still. I just didn't really think to play them in a bait deck like this. I feel like arrows are only better if you have a Prince bait deck. The Dark Goblin got on my tower. Couldn't really do much though. If it got on my Goblins, the Prince would have connected anyways, so kind of had to let that Dark Goblin go. Man, I'm getting kind of hungry right now. It's all good though. I'll eat later. Yeah, he got a bridge princess off. I didn't really need to even Dark Goblin. I didn't think he just let it go like that. I thought he tried to maybe protect it. I did have my Evo barrel, so I was thinking, okay, that's the only way that I could still win at this point. And you guys will see, I did have some pretty nice push here, which I knew could change the trajectory of the game. He ended up arrowsing the fake barrel, actually. Then he went for his own Evo barrel. My cycle was kind of just chopped a little bit, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I knew I had my Evo Valkyrie if I ever needed it to counter some Goblin barrel though. But I decided to just go in anyways, and I think my princess was able to kill his princess, which was really good. We kind of outcycled his arrows too. He still went for them late on the princess. But yeah, I was kind of coming back here. Unfortunately, the princess, man, was just so annoying. I just had no way to really predict the princesses. I had nothing for this barrel, so unfortunately I lost the very first set. My team was winning at this point, but I lost my previous duel, so I really wanted to win here. I was up against Wallace, who was definitely the best player on their team, so I knew it would be quite a bit harder than my previous match, and I lost my previous match, so wasn't really too sure how to feel here, but I knew I could definitely beat him. I decided to play this Pekka balloon deck because I feel like their Mega Knight decks were focusing really on having a lot of ground responses, but not too much as far as air defense. Muhammad Light actually made this deck, and I just copied it from him a few games later. I think the deck is actually quite nice. He played the Mega Knight here, so I was pretty happy about that. In the previous duel that Wallace played, he played Mega Knight second game, so I was kind of thinking he might switch it up and go for Mega Knight first game. We were kind of trying to mainly play our Pekka decks game 1 in this tournament, because if we played it game 2 and we lost game 1, then they would automatically know we're going to play a Pekka deck game 2 because we had to by the rules. So they could just completely snipe Pekka as hard as they could. It was in-game duels though, so we just had to make 4 decks ahead of time. Couldn't change our decks once we were already in the first matches. I decided to, I think, go for a miner here. Yeah, I was kind of trying to block a void. I thought I missed, but I didn't. Somehow the void hit the miner that was literally outside of the void. But that's what void gets. And I got so many balloon drops on the tower. I think I went for, yeah, Little Prince and then like kind of an awkward Tesla up high. Didn't really matter though. I went for the goblins here on the egg too because I knew he had no log in his deck. And yeah, the start was really good here. I still wanted to be very careful though. But then that kind of just went out of the window. I knew I'd just take a ton of damage here once I saw that Evo Mega Knight. I just didn't have the elixir for a Pekka. I went for the Pekka kind of, I think, yeah, really down low here. I wasn't even sure if the Fisherman would pull it, but it actually did end up pulling it. Yeah, that was that was kind of unfortunate. Mega Knight was just going crazy on the tower. Ended up killing it, but yeah, it wasn't too good for me. I decided to, I think, go for a balloon here, yeah, on the left side, because he actually wasted the Phoenix, and I knew I could take out the tower pretty easily with just, like, a miner and maybe a couple spells. I had a really good miner right there just to make sure he couldn't go for the void until super late, so I got quite a bit of damage. I knew my tower was down either way once I saw that Evo RG. I could have maybe tried to defend, but that would have just been a lot of elixir, and I potentially would have lost my tower either way, so yeah, I think I made the right call. I was up quite a bit just thanks to that really good balloon push. He didn't predict my miner, so yeah, I got quite a bit of damage, and I think Snowball, yeah, did take the tower out. I know it was going to be pretty hard to get any more damage here, though, because I really had no way to kill the Phoenix. Only Little Prince, but my Little Prince was kind of just stuck on the right side, just not dying. So I had to go for kind of a weird Tesla. Here his guards were really annoying. You guys can see that they were always going for the guards in their Mega Knight decks, which made it so much more difficult to beat. So yeah, it didn't feel that good at all. He got a pretty good push here, but I think I had to Evo Tesla, and yeah, that pretty much took out everything. Made sure he couldn't Phoenix either onto our Pekka, or if he did, it would just die. I think I did go in for a balloon here, if I remember correctly. Or, okay, yeah, I didn't right away. Just had to play some really good defense here. The Mega Knight was bound to be really annoying, I knew that, so I went for a Pekka way up high, just trying to be as far away from our tower as possible. Pekka was just going crazy. I could have played the Tesla here, but I didn't want to overcommit too much. But man, you guys can see, the RG was so lethal. And at this point, I knew I needed some damage. I needed to really lock in here. Went for kind of a high Tesla. Was actually pretty good there, kind of killing the guards and preventing a potential high Phoenix. Then I just went in for a bit of a push here. Had to go in for the miner very quickly. Tried to tank for the balloon. But it didn't quite get down in time, unfortunately. Still did force out the void, so it was kind of worth it anyways. Got a nice little Prince ability. Maybe could have prediction arrows, but keep in mind, guys, this was pretty early for me. I kind of just woke up, so it wasn't exactly 100% focused. I mean, I was focused, but maybe not on my 100% best game ever. So yeah, I was winning by quite a bit here. But as you guys could see, the pushes from him were really hard to stop, so I knew that something bad could still happen. Now that I think about it, I think that balloon was really not very good, but hey, it still did force out the void. My Little Prince is going insane at this point. And I think I went for maybe a Tesla up high, if I remember correctly. I thought the Fisherman might have tanked onto it, or locked onto it, I mean, but unfortunately not quite. He went for the Evo Mega Knight in the pocket. My Pekka was kind of going back, but then it just ran away for no reason. Mega Knight was actually going to the King Tower, or like pushing the RG to the King Tower. I was just hoping this RG wouldn't get much damage. And luckily it didn't. So yeah, I knew I secured the very nice win in the bag. That was a little bit of a close one, but I was pretty happy about it. I knew I only needed to win one more game to beat Wallace, so I decided to play Goblin Drill, my main deck, but I had kind of a weird variation because I had the rest of the cards in it in some of my other decks. I actually saw Wallace's camera after, and apparently he was in some store while playing. It was kind of funny, and also they put the wrong camera. Dude, CRL is so funny, man. Sometimes they put the wrong camera, like, sometimes there'll be some competitor, and then they'll just put their camera randomly when someone else is playing. It's so funny. They put Clash with Shane's camera when this guy named Big Spin was playing. But yeah, anyways, Wallace decided to play a Mortar Bait deck. I was thinking this matchup would be pretty bad because normally Mortar Bait is supposed to win this matchup pretty nicely. The only thing is my variation here was a little bit different. See, the hardest part of this matchup is normally the Evo Bats. But I had Rage and Fire Spirit, which both deal with them very well, especially the Rage. The only thing is that the Rage I knew would be quite a bit worse against the Goblin gang, so I wasn't feeling too good about that. He actually got a Mortar Shot there, unfortunately, as well, and my cycle was a little bit slower, having the guards, but, you know, they weren't terrible for defense. They were alright. I didn't really want to play too many drills at all in single elixir. My cycle was getting kind of choppy, though. And also, Bomb Tower, I feel like was kind of good, but Evo Tesla is really clutch in this matchup. Wallace went for kind of a bit of a bad push right there. So I got a pretty nice push here on the right side. I could have played the drill with it, but I didn't want to because I knew that on the right side I wasn't going to get the correct true red, true blue that I wanted to get. Some people ask what that means. You guys should watch a video on YouTube to know what that means if you want to, because it's kind of just a lot to explain all at once right now. But basically certain interactions will be better depending on what side you go for, based on true red, true blue. Like, for example, the Goblin Drill, if you play a Ice or Fire Spirit reactively to it, on one side, it'll always distract the Goblin, but on the other side, it will never distract the Goblin. So that's what I mean by true red, true blue. I got my Demolisher on the Mortar, which was very good. I thought the Bomb Tower would kind of tank for it, but unfortunately I didn't go for the Bomb Tower. Bomb Tower still killed it, obviously, but made my Demolisher not really get any counter push. Wallace had wasted the Skeleton here, so I got a very nice Evo Goblin drill. Even it was already kind of dead though, so couldn't really do any tanking with it, unfortunately. Wasn't really getting much Evo drill damage here, but was still forcing out some Elixir, and yeah, I got just a little bit of chip, which was enough to put me in the damage lead at this point. I knew my Demolishers were going to be really good in this matchup. The main issue though is the cannon carts of his. Normally you can always play Poison Log to fully counter a cart, or at least counter the first stage, but because I had no log, I couldn't really kill them particularly well. But I did get a very good poison there, hitting the mortar as well. And I was thinking he wouldn't ability since I had my bomb tower down, but he somehow still decided to go for it. Man, the rage was so nice there. If I had no rage in this deck and a log, I just could not have killed those bats, unless I had my fire spirit in cycle. I was getting down a bit of damage though, or just going down a bit of damage here compared to him. I got a very beautiful poison right there on absolutely everything. Very nice goblin chip damage too. Yeah, very nice damage. So here I was kind of locked in on defense again, just trying to make sure I'd have a decent damage lead. He had like nothing for my fire spirits. My fire spirits were pretty good. I mean, Spear Goblins are a good counter to them, that's about it. The rest of the cards in his deck are all kind of a bad trade. I wanted to make sure I killed this card here, so I kind of overcommitted, but I think it was worth it just to not have to deal with that card. The cannon card is so annoying to deal with sometimes, so yeah, I didn't regret that at all. I think I had to... Okay, I was going to say I had to Evo Knight, but no, I actually got a nice bomb tower. But here I did have to Evo Knight eventually. I kind of wanted to save my Evo Knights for his Evo Mortars, but didn't really have too much of a choice right there. His mortar actually got on my tower, so I was feeling a little bit worried here. But my Rage Up Demolisher went crazy, and then it just rushed towards the tower. Guys, I cannot tell you enough how broken... His mortar got a shot, but it didn't really matter. But guys, I cannot tell you enough how broken of a combo Rage plus Demolisher is, because your opponent will always think, okay, it's gonna die if it has low HP or something, but then you just Rage it, and it doesn't die. And they never expect that, and then you get that big connection on the tower. And also throws so fast when it's raged up. My Evo Drill is getting some little bit of chip damage, nothing too much, but you know, it's working out pretty well for me. Wallace went for the Evo Mortar and the Skelly King ability, but man, the Bomb Tower is doing really good splash. It's not like an Evo Tesla, but it kind of just has decent splash all the time instead of only having good splash once in a while. He actually activated my King Tower. Didn't really matter at this point though, and yeah, I knew I won the duel against Wallace, and my team ended up destroying their team, so look forward to a giveaway very soon. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!